welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name's Carol, and this is a reading for mid-March 2024, and it's a general reading for Aries. And so Aries, we're going to be doing the Yellow Cardinal Cross today. And what this looks like is I'm going to start off in the middle, number 1 and 2, and I'm going to look at your energy. I want to know if there's a pattern, a situation, a struggle, a decision you have to make. I want to know if you're sitting with that right now. And then I'm going to clarify that with another card. And sometimes it may be a card that's kind of obscuring it or covering it. It's covering it up for some reason. And that's what's causing that, the issue is kind of hidden here. And it's having difficulty coming out because of that card. Or it could just be a clarifier. In the third position, we're going to look at what you're consciously aware of. What do you understand about the situation that you're sitting with? What do you know? And then the interesting part is when we get to number 4, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go digging a little bit into your shadow. And if you haven't done shadow work, if you're not familiar with that term, I have a video in my description box for you, an excellent video on how to do shadow work. And that's really, just digging deep into your stuff and finding out what is really in there, what's really you, good and bad. And so that's whatever is in your shadow coming out for you is going to have an impact on the issue that you're sitting with right now. And finally, when we get to 5, we're going to look at what needs to be done in order for this situation to resolve itself and how you can heal from it. And then finally, in number 6, we're going to look at the understanding from the tarot, and usually it's like a little bit of guidance from the tarot. And then in the description box at the end, not the description box, sorry, I'll link at the end your March 2024 reading that I did for you, if you're interested in looking at that, if you haven't seen that yet. And I'll also pull an oracle card for you at the end. All right, so let's get started. If tarot can give me the first card for Aries to show us where they're sitting right now. So one card for Aries. That one came out nicely. The Fool card in reverse. The Fool card in reverse for your first card. Give me something that will clarify this or shows what's sort of covering up this Fool. So one card, please, for this. This one came flipping. Ooh, the 5 of Wands. That card has not come out in a while for me. The 5 of Wands. In number 3 position, what do you know about this situation? What are you aware of? What is Aries aware of in this situation? Comes flying out. The 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords. What's coming up in your shadow to heal? What is coming up? One card, please. The Queen of Cups, and that was in reverse. Number 5 is what's needed for resolution. And we got the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands. And finally, number 6, some direction from the tarot, please. One card for direction from the tarot. The Hierophant. The Hierophant card. Wow, this looks like an interesting reading for you. Okay, let's begin. Fool card comes out, number 1. And you're sitting in a situation now. This is in reverse. So let's look at the card upright first. The Fool card does not come out often in my readings, and when it does, it's because there is a need for a major change. Like there's a need for a major change for you. There's a major in that you need to. There's if you look at this card, the Fool is, very much trusting the universe that this is all going to be okay, and that's why it's called the Fool. But the Fool will come out when there's a need for you to almost jump into something different And so there's a major change that needs to take place here. And the universe, this card, tarot was saying, you know, trust. There's a real emphasis with this card on trusting and having faith that the universe has your back. And sometimes fear can hold us back when we're wanting to do something, you know, whether it's a new thing for yourself, a new move in a lot of different directions in any area of your life, and you just know you need to do it, you want to do it, but you just can't take that next step. And that's what's happening here, is that, you know, it's in reverse. So I'm seeing here there's just a huge resistance here. You're sitting on a lot of which may be fear, just not maybe believing you can do it for some reason, but it's a general reading here, so you know that there is some change that needs to take place. You're quite aware of it, but you just can't do it. And here's to clarify for you is the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands called is what I call, like, the five in itself, the number 5 is all about conflict, right? And so there's some conflict going on here. But with fives, they're good cards in that, yes, they're conflict cards. There's also change behind it. And you're always going to have conflict with wands, that wand suit, because the wand suit always wants to go in a direction that you're supposed to be going into. And so that's why you're getting a lot of this conflict. But this 5 is the conflict of egos. It's a battle of our wills, right? It's the battle where we start to compare ourselves to other people. And as soon as you start to compare yourself to other people, you really shut yourself down. So I see you here as really, you know, your ego is jumped in on this and has you comparing yourself to other people. And what happens when you start to do that, you just right away think, oh, I can't do it as good as they can do it. There's just no way. Or this has been done before. Or, you know, something like that, where you're just feeling less than. And it's because you've been comparing yourself to other people. And this is why you can't do this next step that the universe is really wanting you to do. So consciously, you're aware that, you know what? You've been really up in your head with this, for sure. You've been really up in your head. And you can see these swords here. Swords is all about mental energy, right? Because I don't think people realize how much mental energy how much energy we expand just by thinking and having these things spin around our head all the time. And so this card is saying here, like, you know, you're tired. You're really, really tired of thinking about this all the time and spinning about this, and you're needing a rest. You're needing some time out here. And, you know, time out just to shut your brain off, because you've just been spinning. And you're spinning around it, especially when you start comparing yourself to other people. You can really, really spin and shut yourself down, like I said, really quickly. What's coming up in your shadow? Well, the Queen of Cups, and we're going to turn her around. She's in reverse right now, but the Queen of Cups, the Queen represents in my deck the feminine aspect of ourselves. We have the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect. We have both of those sides. Doesn't matter what gender you are. And the feminine aspect, the Queen of Cups, she's all about emotions. She feels all of her emotions, and you can see this water flowing. She's very abundant, and the water around her feet are flowing, right? They're not puddles, they're just flowing. And emotions are meant to flow in, and they're meant to flow out. But because the Queen is sitting here in your shadow in reverse, it means that whenever I see the Queen in reverse, there is a real stifling of emotions here. And when you have these emotions that are sitting in your unconscious and you're not feeling them and they need to come out, this Queen can become she can become very depressed and just feel a sense of hopelessness. And she can feel angry because she needs to express these emotions. And so I'm seeing here that there's some emotions that need to be felt, and and because you're sitting in a state where you're comparing yourself to others, it could be a state of unworthiness where you just don't feel good about yourself, and that brings us into a real state of hopelessness, like this queen, like I said, that she's sitting in right here. And so what the universe is saying for resolution here is the Eight of Wands. And like I said, the wand suit is really is all about taking your life in the direction that you want to take it. Like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Do you foresee, like, do you see some kind of purpose that you want to do? Do you want to take your life into a different direction? And I'm seeing you do, because you have this Fool card in here. And so these Eight of Wands says, you know what? And I'm going to take that Fool card out again, because this Fool card is, when we look at it upright, this Fool card says, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to jump, and I'm going to have, like I said, trust that the universe has my back. And this Fool card doesn't come out often, I said. It comes out when there's a need for it. The Eight of Wands that you're getting, which is the need for resolution. You need, at this point, to take those wands. They're creative wands. They're wands that are going to take us in the direction that we want to go to. You need, at this point, to do something. To take the wands and just throw them up in the air and see where they land. I remember once when I once had something channeled for me, and the channeling said, you know, it's better to do something than to do nothing to me, because I wanted to put out my own website and my own and my other YouTube channel, and I had something channeled because I was petrified to put out a YouTube channel and my own website, like absolutely petrified. I was petrified of become visible, and the message that I was given from this person that channeled was, you need to do something rather than nothing. And so what I'm seeing here is, you need to do something rather than nothing. And when I say take those wands and throw them up in the air, I don't mean, you know, you're going to take the biggest giant step ever. Sometimes the smallest, teeniest step that we take can be that step that we need just to get us going, right? And because, you know, I can see here, like, you know, your unworthiness and comparing yourself to other people. And but this Fool wants to be turned upright, you know? The Fool wants to be turned upright. And you just need to take that smallest little step. That's what's needed. And the understanding is, this is powerful, that it ends with this. And so what I'm seeing, Aries, is that you're ending with the Hierophant card. And the Hierophant card is this papal figure here. And these are his disciples, and they're learning. They're learning all about, you know, what they're supposed to do, what they're not allowed to do. And, you know, they're learning the laws. They're learning the laws of obedience, the laws of that particular, it has a religious connotation here. And so when this card comes up, I like to, you know, point out that, yes, there is a religious connotation. Some of us were born into a religion. Some of us still may be in one. Some of you might have left your religion that you had, that you were raised with. Some of you might have been in a cult. Some of you, you know, this card is about institutions that have formed you and conditioned you and almost wired you into the person that you were. And I like the word conditioned in a way, you know, because, you know, most of the time these conditionings are not us. You know, I think of myself where, you know, I raised kids, and you know, they followed the religion that I had when I was raising kids. And so as a child, you don't have a say in what religion you want to belong to. And so this right here is what happens is we get into adulthood, and we still live by the way that we were conditioned when we were younger. And this is really about trying to find, you know, what are your ways of obedience, or what are your ways of being. And so part of our life now is to rewire ourselves. This was the way we are wired. This is the way we were conditioned. And so I see here that, the Hierophant saying, well, there's a certain conditioning here that that is entering into the picture here. So whatever you want to do has something to do with the way that you were wired. So maybe you're feeling like, I can't do this. I'm not allowed to do this. Oh, what are people going to think if I do this? My family wouldn't agree if I did this. People would look at me, and this is what this is all about. And I think you're being asked to really question now the ways that you were conditioned, the ways that you were wired to believe what you believe. And so when you start to when you start to hear these messages of why you can't do what you want to do right now, and if you hear the word I can't, or I'm not allowed to, no way I can do this, start to question those. Where did they come from? Who says you can't do that? Who says you're not allowed to? And those are the kind of things that I would journal from. Those are the kind of things that I would journal from. All right, so I just flipped out a card for you, and I'm going to assume it's the one for you, for an oracle card from the Sacred Creators Oracle card. I loved your reading today, Aries. I enjoyed doing it. So I'm hoping that this is the card, and I'll know when I read it. Usually is. All right, so it's called 33. Just a sec. I always look at the page, and it's not the page, it's the number of the card. Okay, sacred mirrors. Sacred mirrors are all around. We are connected to other souls on this planet, and every single interaction, no matter how great or how tiny, can carry a message or a meaning. Just as you can only really understand the concept of light when you've understood the concept of dark, so too can you only understand who you are when you really begin to see others. We see sameness in others. We see difference, and they offer us glimpses of our own true selves through their reflection. Look for a lesson in the coming days, a sacred mirror that will refract and reverberate throughout your being and shed light on your truest form. Sometimes mirrors serve to teach us how unique we are because of the contrasting and opposite nature they unveil. When another person thinks differently, use it to help you understand your own mind. Sometimes mirrors serve to ignite something within us that we had long forgotten. I wish I could do that. I would love to be that brave. I desire that charisma. Is that possible for me? What have your mirrors been showing you lately? And have you been acting on the information they're sending your way? Find solutions in these sacred reflections. Wow. I wish I could do that. I would love to be that brave. You can do that. The Fool card says, go ahead, the universe has your back. The Hierophant card is the one that says, not sure. Not sure you can do that. So these are the two things here. These are the two forces right now in your life. Wanting to do it, and there's being blocked by some belief systems, conditionings that you have there. So take care, Aries. I will see you in April for a reading. Bye-bye.